Hello and welcome back to Man v Film. It's time for the Watch Pile, episode 6, where I'm continually trying to lower my pile of unwatched movies and get through them. Well, always adding more to the pile as we go through it as well. Now, not too bad. A few titles added this month. Let's dive into them first. We'll talk about them straight away. So first up, we have In the Line of Duty 3, which I really liked. I thought Cynthia Can was a great replacement for Michelle Yeoh. I thought she did some excellent work. Really kind of enjoyed this one a lot. I have got In the Line of Duty 4, which stars Donnie Yen as well as Cynthia Can. And again, thought this one was terrific. I really loved the constant non-stop action. Felt a little bit more Hollywoodish in the way that it went about it, because it was just constant, and it was more varied with car chases and various things. But there's some standout action sequences. The full reviews for those are coming soon. I got this from the Cult Classics line. It's Liney 1, which is a German musical, which was surprisingly entertaining. Some great toe-tapping numbers, a nice story. A fun review for that is coming very soon. We have the British movie from the Cult Classics as well, The Final Programme, which was a real oddball of a movie. I don't really know how else to describe this one. It's a apocalyptic movie with a strong sense of humour, satirical moments, a little bit all over the place, but I kind of dug it. I'm going to think about this one a little bit more before I do my review on it. Recent titles from Radiance. You have, as I said, A Woman Kills, which was their number 8 title, which I kind of liked. An unusual take on a proto-giallo movie through a kind of artistic lens, and kind of focusing on the political climate of France at that time. I liked it a lot. It was just different, not for everybody. One that was pretty great was Miami Blues, which I hadn't seen in years, and I loved going back to this one. It was hilarious. I just thought Alec Baldwin was such a reprehensible yet highly entertaining character. I just loved spending time with him. A title that I managed to pick up off eBay. So if you're looking for imprint titles, watch eBay because you get some amazing deals. This one was £10. It's sealed. It's the two Worlds of Jenny Logan, which I don't really know too much about. I like the cast. The plot was about someone who can travel back in time and is living these two simultaneous lives, which sounded really interesting. An imprint title at £10 was great. One that's sold out and hard to get hold of, Lady in a Cage, £15 off eBay. I love this film. Olivia de Havilland is great, and it's introducing James Caan. It's basically a woman who gets stuck in her own private elevator. There's nobody there to help her. This gang of youths come in and just torment her, led by Caan. It's a phenomenal film. I love it. I'm really happy to add it to the collection. There is a review on the channel somewhere for that one. Next up, from 88 Films, we have Killer's Moon, which I thought was particularly good. Not great, but I really loved the idea of it. So it's basically a group of school kids on a trip, and they're getting brutally murdered by these 4 guys. But these 4 guys have been under an experimental procedure, and they think they're in a dream world where they've to unleash all their carnal desires, all the torturous stuff they want to do, and hopefully getting that out in the dream world will make them more susceptible to going back into society and being productive members of the world. They're just not in a dream world, they're just killing people, and they kind of don't really realise it, which I like. Next up, we have Massage Parlour Murders in 4K. The best thing about this film is this cover art, which is phenomenal. I wasn't overly keen on this one. It's a procedural movie, but there's large moments in time where there's no sound or dialogue from the characters. It's all voiceover, as if they've been out recording without any sound material. I thought the mystery wasn't that great, but the ending was surprisingly fantastic, which I really did like the idea of that. Almost repurposed the movie, not quite. Also from Vinegar Syndrome as Goodbye 20th Century, which is a Balkland movie that was very interesting. I can't tell if it was just pretentious for the sake of it, whether it was incredibly fun. There was moments that I just found grating and annoying. There was moments that I loved and found it to be like really enjoyable. If we had more of that, kind of three various tales loosely tied together, and I'm not entirely sure if I liked it or not. Yes, there. Next up, we have the Devonsville Terror from Ule Lomel. I really, again, wasn't sure about this one. A story of witches that were persecuted, killed, and then we jump 300 years to this town of Devonsville, and three women come into the town. People start to look at them as if they're almost the witches coming back, and they start to lose their humanity. It's a better idea than the actual film. The film doesn't quite capture that threat and impending doom that's coming, that building anxiety, which is a real shame. From Deaf Crocodile, we have The Son of the Stars. I loved Delta Space Mission. Jumped into this one. Psychedelic weirdness through a prism of 80s animation. I loved the story in this one and how it kept expanding into something more, just more. It kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The villain felt truly dangerous, and I felt like our hero could lose at any point. It was a nice one. And yeah, Biozombie in this stunning, it's one of those slips within a slip. That's upside down. How did that happen? Slip within a slip. Best thing about this one was the characters. I loved the two leads. They were terrific together. And even though the movie's little low budget, doesn't quite achieve the gore or the story I was hoping for, because it had two enigmatic leads that I enjoyed spending time with, the movie was enjoyable. Sometimes you can get away with just having great characters who are realistic and flawed, funny, but you kind of hope the best for. I kind of liked Biozombie. Then we have the 4K of House in the Park, which I utterly loved, had never seen it before. I found it to be just terrific. Not just a home invasion or horrible sequences for the sake of it. There was a purpose behind it. I'm not entirely sure I buy it 100%, but I liked it had a little bit more to it than just the typical film. And then we also had Hail of the Living Dead, Virus, Zombie, Creeping Flesh. Terrific film, really silly, over the top, an Italian zombie movie, if ever there was one. Falls into all the tropes, ripping off some of the Italian rip-offs that came before it as well. It's great. It's got a fantastic score by Goblin. I liked it a lot. It wasn't as good as House on the Edge of the Park, which I found to be my sort of favourite of this month. Okay, so let's dive into the things that I watched this month and hopefully see if I manage to lower that watch list at all. Would be good. So I started off with 125 movies on my watch pile. Last time I saw you, I just watched the Jesse Stone movie. From there, I watched The Infernal Rapist, which was just not great. It was very repetitive and not particularly interesting. Undeclared War, which I thought was a great Ringo Lam movie, very serious, great action, a lot of fun. I then went on to Sidekicks, which I just utterly love. Review coming soon on that one. It's such a fun movie. A young guy just at the age where he's losing his childhood and becoming a man, and his daydreams and affection for Chuck Norris and how it affects his life. It's incredibly fun. I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp at the cinema. I loved the world building. I hated Morlock. I hated the kind of trite and typical storyline, but the world building was fantastic. I revisited From Beyond, which was just awesome. The practical effects, the way it jumps into the story, it's less than 90 minutes and it just comes in does exactly what it has to do. It's amazing, and then gets out. It's just a fun film. Biozombie, which I just talked about, great characters, which really drove the story forward. The Devonsville Terror, which again spoke about that one. Hell of the Living Dead, Night of the Zombies was the other title. Yeah, just talked about that. And The House at the Edge of the Parks, and Son of the Stars and Massage Parlour Murders. Goodbye 20th Century. I've talked about all those because I just picked them up this month. Cocaine Bear was fun. What more do you want? Just a fun movie. Like, it's not serious. It's not intending to be serious. It's funny. It's over the top. It's got some of the best focus pulling I've ever seen in a film, and it just was fun. Killer's Moon, I mentioned. I quite enjoyed that. Still working through the Jesse Stone movies. Still loving them. These reviews are all going to be dropping on the membership channel. I really started to get through them because there was connective tissue between the films that I wanted to see concluded. I watched No Remorse, In the Line of Duty 3, which I spoke about, which was great. Miami Blues and A Woman Kills, which was great. The Deadly Camp, which was part of the made in Hong Kong set from Vinegar Syndrome. Turns out I picked the worst movie to start with. I didn't. It's from 1999. It's trying to be a slasher movie, trying to be a throwback to a mix of, say, The Hills Have Eyes and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But it doesn't do much with it. The characters were mainly just horrid, and you never see any of the kills. The camera always moves away just as something fun's about to happen, so it doesn't even have that going for it. I watched the new Chris Rock stand-up, yeah, and it was funny. Creed 3, which I enjoyed mostly. Very just typical films, following a standard plotline. Doesn't deviate from it, but you know, when it works, it works. I rewatched The Punisher, which I had something to do on the computer, wanted a background film. The Punisher hit all the marks. I enjoyed it again. I really did think it's a pretty fun film. It has major flaws, but I don't mind them. Line 1, that German musical, and The Final Programme that I was talking about, and In the Line of Duty 4. And one movie that I haven't logged, which was Innocence Lost, the latest Jesse Stone movie, which I just love. I've got 2 more to watch, and they're running out soon. So if I check my notes, I started at 125. I added 14 movies into the collection, which brought me up to 139. But I watched 21 discs in the past few weeks, which took me down to 118. So I am lowering this, which is great. And I've nothing pre-ordered for the next few weeks. So I am looking to really get stuck into it, because there'll probably be a Vinegar Syndrome package at the end of this month. There might be an imprint package at the end of this month, things that I need to really get through. So I am hoping to get that list under 110, as close to 100 as possible would be fantastic if I can get there. So I feel as if I'm starting to make a little bit of a dent in it. For the longest while, I hung around about 130, mid 130s, and I feel like I'm chipping away at it slowly but surely. If I wasn't adding anything, I'd probably be getting through it a lot quicker. But I'm happy with that. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm adding, but my watch pile is constantly getting lower, which is terrific. How are you getting on with your watch pile? Are you managing to get it down? Has it just got to such an abomination of a size that you just throw it in a cupboard and forget about it? Or are you keeping it nice and tight the way I would like it? Let me know in the comment box below what you think of what I picked up, what I watched. If you have any thoughts on any of the films, let me know in the comment box below. While you're down there, hit this video with a like, because it really helps the channel. There is more content up here. You can see more of my stuff if you wish. And in the description boxes, links to the Patreon, the membership program, manvfilm.com. Remember, if you're a member, you get access to extra videos as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.